What exactly is the secret behind Blast's cube, or should I say the cubes that Blast is trying to collect? Well, that's exactly what we are going to be talking about in this video. But before we get into all that, make sure you leave a like on this video because it takes like 0 seconds and it helps out a lot, believe it or not. And I've actually got a brand new mic, so I would really appreciate if you guys gave some feedback on how it sounds and if it's somewhat of an upgrade from the last mic I was using. But now that's all out of the way, let's just get into the damn video. Chapter 139 came out about a week ago, and that chapter, I'm sure we can all agree, was probably one of the best chapters in the entire manga, which is saying a lot because One Punch Man has had multiple amazing chapters throughout its lifetime, and chapter 139 is probably my third or fourth favorite chapter in the entire series, and that is because Blast was actually revealed. No flashback, not just the discussion about him from other characters, but an actual appearance from the man himself, Blast, which again is not something we have ever seen before in the series. This caught the entire fanbase off guard, including the webcomic readers, because for all the people that have read the webcomic, we know this did not happen, which again just goes to show that the manga and the webcomic are kind of going their own separate ways, which is pretty cool in my personal opinion. But as you can tell by the title, I will be talking about the cube that Blast seems to always be carrying around with him, and I will be theorizing on what these cubes are and what they do. Now, we've actually only started seeing these cubes recently in the manga, which makes sense because these cubes are clearly linked with God and they are also linked with Blast, of course, and we've only started getting more information about Blast and God in this recent arc of the manga, which explains why we've been seeing these cubes more often. The first time we see this cube is in a flashback with Tatsumaki and Blast back when Blast was a lot younger, and I'm assuming Blast at that period of time only started collecting these cubes because we see that even after all these years, it seems like Blast still hasn't managed to collect all of them, which probably suggests that these cubes are quite tough to find, which makes sense because these cubes are clearly otherworldly objects since it's linked with God, and Saitama and Flashy Flash were only able to see and communicate with God after touching the cube. Blast at the moment has only said he is collecting these cubes, which again doesn't really tell us why he's doing this, but we can actually theorize and infer that Blast is simply collecting these cubes to get stronger, because remember God stated in chapter 139 about if you touch the cube and you are quote unquote worthy, you will be granted great power. However, if you're not, you will face the consequences. Now, we have seen that Blast has clearly touched the cube in the past and has most likely been, able to get stronger via these cubes. How I'm picturing this whole scenario with Blast and the cube is every time Blast tracks down one of these cubes, he gains power of some sort. He may have actually even gained his Esper-like powers through the cube, granting him a sort of wish by making him stronger by giving him these Esper abilities. The cubes are definitely something we will see come up in the future of One Punch Man, and who knows, these cubes might be linked to Saitama's ridiculous strength. Of course, as I said, none of these things that happen in chapter 139 of the manga happen in the webcomic. So all of this is just me theorizing and just kind of coming to a somewhat thought out conclusion on what the secret of these cubes are and how exactly they are linked to Blast and God and even possibly Saitama. The cube is something that Murata and One probably didn't think anyone would realize in the flashback chapter with Tatsumaki, but to my surprise, a few people actually managed to spot and pay attention to this cube despite, getting the first piece of solid information about the most hype character in the entire series. One thing I want to also discuss is Blast's strength. Now, in the past, I have questioned the legitimacy of Blast's, otherworldly, crazy, unparalleled strength, and I think I was justified in this action because we have no real information about him despite, the hero data books, and that just doesn't sit well with me. Personally, I like when a character proves their strength by showing it live in front of the reader's eyes. Blast never did that. He was only ever talked about being the strongest and was constantly hyped by other characters, despite the only feat we know of him being, defeating Elder Centipede. And also the webcomic knows that he also defeated the leader of the ninja village. However, now that we've seen Blast pretty much completely juke and be completely unfazed by Flashy Flash's kicks, and which is probably one of Flashy Flash's most fastest attacks, pretty much just clarifies that, yeah, this guy Blast probably is as strong or maybe even stronger than people say he is. Not to mention he's shown to be able to teleport via like a black hole thingy that emits electricity, and to be completely honest, I don't think that's even scratching the surface of what Blast can really do, which again makes me excited to see what Blast does in the future of the series. I'm sure we will eventually, you know, come across a threat level god or even higher than that, and we will see Blast appear for the second time to possibly fight alongside Saitama and, you know, get rid of this threat level god or above or whatever. But apart from that, that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe with notifications turned on and set to all. And apart from that, I will see you in my next video.